So in your CCNA data center, we have seen the blueprint 911, and we have also seen the exam topics. So 911 and 916, two exam topics for us. In 911, we have all the description, interpreting network diagrams, basic stuff that we discussed earlier. And major part is your 52% is your Nexus operating system. So 911, you should have a little idea about this, although we will discuss them. And 916 is the important one that we were discussing earlier. So in here, we start with your LAN. What is a LAN? What is storage area network? And description of all your network designs, collapsed core. Describe all these technologies. So major components of your data center will be Nexus, storage, UCS, and virtualization. So what will be your devices? If we talk about Nexus, all these devices will use NX, Nexus operating system, and these Nexus series switches. You have 7004. So 7000 means it is 7000 first gen, you can say 70. The next gen will be 7700 series, right? If we talk about storage, we also have another devices like MDS devices. Storage has your multi-layer director switches. Now, all these devices, your Nexus operating system is very flexible because it supports something called unified fabric, unified computing. Now, unified means what? Unified means combination of your LAN and SAN. So it can understand, yes. So if we talk about unified, now your data center also has these three things. This is the latest version that we are learning, data center version 3, that has all of these things. See, this is your data center infrastructure. It will support unified computing, unified fabric. With unified fabric, what do I mean to say? Fabric is technically your switches. If I have 10 switches, we call it our switch fabric. Now, unified fabric means it will support both LAN and SAN. So for example, if I say that I have a switch, for example, I give you a switch of this kind, and I say this is a unified switch. Unified switch means what? Unified device. Assuming that this is your 5500 EVICE, if I see the EVI, yeah. If I say this is your Cisco's 5548 series UP switch, unified ports. This 5500 series device is capable of supporting both. For example, this can act as a storage switch also. Storage switch, if you compare it with another vendors, you have a very nice vendor called Brocade. This vendor creates only SAN devices, you can say. Storage level switches are different, LAN switches are different. Now I can also use this for my LAN side and my SAN side also. For example, if I say I have a few ports over here, first port over here, a few ports in here, I want to connect these devices over here. Means I want to connect storage devices. Now storage devices are a little different when it comes to our configuration. So let's go on Cisco's website. These are the topics that we are discussing, but let's see if I say I have a device. So let's go on cisco.com. So usually we will see in here, if I say 7000 series devices, and if you want to ask which device is Cisco testing on, it will be your 7004 in your CCIE lab exam. But the operation of all these devices is same. Have NXOS, they have supervisor modules. But let us see. If we are talking about 7000 series switches, let's see what Cisco has. Products and services. Here you can go on switches. See, Cisco has a very nice architecture for you to learn also. If you want to learn a technology, you can see the product on the technology basis, and they will also teach you how to configure. Let's see if I want to talk about my 7000 series. If we are talking about data center devices, we are talking about 7000. See, we were discussing about 9000 ACI devices, 7000, 5000 and 2000. This, what we are talking about is 7000. In our data center syllabus, we have to understand. So if I say 5000 series and 2000 series specs and 1000V is your virtual device. So overall, you have your, in CCNA, you have 7,000, 5,000, 2,000 and 1,000. So let's go and let's see our Cisco devices. So let's first see your device. If I say that this is your data center, these are the series. 7,000 is the one that we'll focus first on. Then we will focus on your 5,000. So 7,000 has two series, 70 series and 77 series. 5,000 series has two series again, actually three. So if I say we are talking about 5,000 series, it will have 5010 first generation, 5020 second generation, and 5548 and 5596. Now the third one is 5672 5600 series. So if you are here for CCIE, then 7004, 5672, these two devices are going to be in your CCIE lab exam. But this is your first gen, you can say 5,000 series, 50 first gen, 55 second gen, 56 third latest one. And then if I say 2000, then again you will have another series, 2232, 2224, 2124 series will be there. These are your fabric extenders. We'll discuss about all of these devices, but as of now, let us see first the 7,000 series. Yes. See, the thing is, if you say about 2000 series, let me show you one thing. If I show you that this is your 5000 series device and you have, for example, 48 ports on this one. Now you say, I want to have more ports. For having more ports, you require one more 5500 series device. But I don't want to buy a device that has, because I have to pay for 50. I don't want a control plane. So what will your 2000 do? Your 2000 is just going to be a remote line card. You can say it's a remote line card. Now, if you recall, if you have your USB extenders or your chargers, what will be your USB extender? You have one USB port, right? You attach an extender. You have 4 ports on that USB. Same is this concept. See, this 5548 will have ports over here. Port number 1, port number 2, for example. On your FEX, there will be a yellow port over here. For example, there will be a port that is yellow in color over here. There will be, I'll show you all the devices, and I connect my 5000 on these, and this switch just appears as your normal switch on the upstream device. This switch will be connected like this over here. Now 5548 plus 48 ports over here, your 5000 series device has 48 plus 48 ports. This becomes 98 ports. This is fabric extender. I want more ports, but no control plane on that. This 2000 series does not have a console port. No console. Why? Because this is a remote line card. This will be just attaching over here, and you can think of this as internal wiring. So this becomes 5596, for example. Actually, it's not 96, but this is 55 series switch, but added extra ports to it. That is your 2000. Once we go on that FEX device, I'll show you that also. See, IOM is on your UCS, but let me show it to you. See, if I tell you about, there are 2 FEXs. One is on your, let me show it. Yeah, this is a device over here. 2000 series is a device. And the thing that you are saying is your unified computing system. You have one more device over here called UCS chassis that has something over here, and this, there will be 2 devices. Actually, this is inside, but let us keep it over here for design perspective. This here is also known as your FEX, but this is your input output module, IO module, you can say. It is just a remote line card, but because this chassis is controlled by another device that we'll discuss later. But don't be confused with that FEX and this FEX. Kind of same, but placement is very different. Here it will have maximum 8 ports. That will have 48 ports, 1 GB, 10 GB. So these 2 devices are very different. See, if you say servers only, right? Now Cisco, now what are the other vendors? You can have Dell, you can have HP, other vendors who have their servers, right? Now, what is this thing over here? This is your unified computing system. This is a chassis that will accommodate servers in here. This is a chassis. This can have 8 servers over here. For example, this will be my server 1 and server 2. There are two types of servers. One is a blade server and one is a chassis pizza box. So if you're talking about Dell server or HP server, maybe you have a big server like this, right? For managing your server, you will have separate heating components, cooling components, separate fans, ACs and all. What if you have 10 servers? All servers will be in a rack. You have to have a cooling for that, separate. Management is separate. If I say you have a UCS chassis, this is a cupboard, you can say. It's like a whole placeholder for your servers in here. So I'll show you UCS chassis also, because UCS chassis will have all your servers inside. So instead of having all those devices in there, I'll show you that when the time comes, I'll show you that also. Here, I'll show you, yes, all the physical components I have. I will show you all those devices. So let's see your 7000 series devices. What is in your 7000 series devices? See, these are your model numbers: 7004, 7009, 7010, 7018. Now the thing to understand is the 4, the 9, the 10, the 18. These are your units. You can say your modules inside it. How many units can be added? So there will be at least 2 units gone for controlling. That is the supervisor module. I'll tell you about that. But see that, just notice over here, 7004, 7702. So there are 2 variants: 7 first generation, 7 second generation. The thing, for example, if I say 7018, now if I say 7018 means this chassis box is 7000 series 7018, and in here you will have 18 slots. Here you will have 1, 2, 3, 4 going till 18. So 7000 series first generation with 18 slots inside it. Inside 18, there will be at least 2 devices, two slots over here. That depends on your module. That will be controlling your chassis. Now, actually, it's not controlling the chassis. These 2 devices are the brain of your device. This is your supervisor modules. If you know, in your devices, if we are talking about Cisco devices, we always have 2 important planes. What are the 2 important planes of your Cisco devices? If you say, one is the control plane and one is the data plane, right? So the control plane in your Nexus is called your supervisor module, right? So there will be at least 2 supervisor modules for redundancy, and all the others will be your data planes or your IO modules, you can say. Input output module. Getting it? Now, if I compare this with a 6500 series chassis, if you have 6500 series switches, 6500 has a very nice capability that you can have different modules inside it. For example, insert a wireless module, it becomes a wireless switch also. Insert, if you want to capture the packets, you can do that also. So there are range in that. I'll just show you that one.